Stay to the end of this video to find out how to scrape over 100,000 B2B cold email leads within 30 seconds. In this video, I'm going to go over the old way versus the new way of scraping data and overall the best solution and the one that's working right now. So with that being said, let's just jump into it. So what I'm going to go over first is going to be the current process that you're typically doing if you are scraping data from Apollo or other forms of data services, right? Now, the current process is to do one of two things. It's to take websites from, store leads built with Google Maps, wherever you want to scrape from, and it's to funnel everything to Apollo.io. Now, if you ever used Apollo.io, there are a few problems and kinks that I'm going to go over in this video. Now, that's one way of doing it. Another way of scraping data is by going directly from Apollo, which I'll show you right here how to actually do. Now, again, this is typically for people trying out cold email as a cold email agency, or whether you're doing for a cold email, for yourself. This is the typical route you're going to be going. Right, you'd end up on a Apollo, on your Apollo account, and what you typically do is, you go by whatever industry, or you're going to target whatever industry you would want to target, right, at a company level. So let's just say I want to target, United States-based businesses between 1 and 50 employees, and I want to target, the marketing and advertising industry, for example, right? Marketing, advertising, and then let's just say I want them to be specifically B2B marketing, and other forms of intent you can have there. But right there, 66,000 leads. And then if I go to the People's tab, I can get access to over 315,000 people that work at these marketing agencies. Now, this sounds good, in hindsight, and I'm sure this is the typical way you're currently doing this. But the fundamental problem is when you try to scrape this data, right? Because Apollo's data is pretty expensive. You use external solutions like Export Apollo, Amplileads, Boomerang, and a lot of these third-party, exporters, which although do cost, a lot less than purchasing it directly from Apollo, they have a lot of flaws. Some of the flaws are that it takes, 24 to 48 hours to even scrape this data. They cost way too much compared to other, exporters or other solutions, which I'm actually going to show you in this video. The customer support between all of these are absolutely terrible, missing data from most lead lists that you scrape, and are extremely unreliable when you need to scrape data quickly. As a cold email agency myself, we scrape a lot of data from Apollo. That's one of the main services we provide, is obviously scraping data and sending out emails to these people. It's very important to have a reliable exporter at hand because, again, number one, Apollo is way too expensive at scale. Number two, if you are using this third-party solution, it's typically owned by, a third world country type of business, and it's just not set up correctly, and it's not a professional way of doing things. Now, what is the actual solution? The actual solution is using a platform called aleads.com. Aleads is a similar database to Apollo, but it has all of the information that Apollo has, plus Crunchbase, SalesNav, and so much more. And I'll kind of just give you a quick demo of how it works. So with Aleads, you're going to go here and you're going to log into the actual platform. And again, you'll see it looks exactly like Apollo, right? A one-to-one replica, right? But just with more data. So if you want to get access to more people, right? Same concept here, right? Let's say I want to get access to United States-based businesses, right? Between, 1 to 50 headcount. And, in the marketing industry, for example, I have access to this data. Right? So marketing, advertising. And then if I go to people, right, we have, let's see here, 730,000 people, right, versus the other list that had 216,000. So you can see there's a lot more data here. And a big benefit is that when you scrape this data, it doesn't just take forever like typical exporters do. As soon as you click this, it's done within 30 seconds, even less. I could show you a file here that I have here, for example, right? General loans, right? 35,000 leads scraped in 11 seconds. This one scraped in 1 minute, 30,000 leads, right? M&A firms within 1 minute. This one took a little bit longer because, it has to verify and do all of its due diligence, but nonetheless, it's very, very quick and takes, a lot less time than typical other solutions. So that's Aleads. If you do want access to Aleads, you could just sign up. If you do sign up with code Lead Academy, you're going to get 1,000 free leads plus 30% off every single subscription you ever have with them as just a benefit benefit of using them. And that's that. I really hope you enjoyed this kind of demo of me explaining kind of how to scrape these leads. Again, it's very quick, very cost effective. And again, you get 1,000 free leads just to test on the platform. So if that was valuable, please do leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.